What's up, my fellow trash news? Welcome back to another episode of Good Content. And if you've seen my Twitter, you would know that there's a certain movie I've become a bit of obsessed with. In no small, but it wasn't helped by the fact that one of the antagonists is really cool. I can't say his name right now because it would spoil the movie that we are going to be talking about today, and that is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Will this video get... Wait, no. There's this new rule that you can't say anything bad within the very beginning of the video, or the first few minutes. Will that get this video restricted? I don't want that. Anyway, so yeah. At first, when I saw the first clips of this movie, I wasn't I was surprised that they were making a sequel. Which, by the way, I have seen the first movie and the short film with the three Musketeers. I have seen those, and a bit of the TV show, but I don't remember that at all. But when I first saw the first the opening sequence, not the whole thing, but when I saw the beginning of the movie, when they first teased it, I thought, oh, a sequel? All right. Animation's cool. Not that really different from the original, but it's different. So I kind of just went on with my my day, and then all of a sudden I started seeing photos and clips of this wolf that looked really cool, and I think I fell in love because suddenly I was starting obsessing over him a bit. Just a bit. Not really obsessing, but I had a heavy interest in him. But it's kind of funny because I have this book right here that I've been trying to finish reading, but no, let's just show you. This I got it last summer at a local bookstore. So yeah. Anyway, what was I talking about? So I gained a heavy interest in him, and it was mostly because of him that I wanted to see the movie. And luckily, I had a 3-day weekend last weekend as of this recording, and I was going to initially see it Sunday, but then I slept in. So then I took the Monday I had off, and I went to see it. And I like it. I like the movie. That's basically it if you don't want to watch anymore. I like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It's good. It's really good. Though I do think rewatching it, especially if I was to rewatch it in my room alone, my opinion of it and my obsession of this movie would go through the roof. But until then, I like it. It is good. So of course, I can't really get into why I like the wolf or the rest of the movie without saying spoilers ahead, because the most interesting parts about this movie are spoiler based. There isn't okay, I'm gonna spoilers again because I want to talk about something that involves why I probably wouldn't have been, but also would have been more interested in this movie had I not known something. You good? All right. So the reason I like the wolf so much is because he's cool, but he's also literally death. Because the movie's all about Puss's quest to get more lives because of the fallen star, because he's used all 8 of his others. Because he's a cat, he has 9 lives, and now he's on his 9th and final one. So he was gonna use the wishing star to get I don't know why the jazz music's really distracting for me right now. So he can get his eight lives back again. Mainly because of death. After his 8th life was snuffed out of him, he was at a bar drinking milk like a... Okay, a little tangent here. Don't give your cats cow milk or any milk. They cannot drink it like we can, or at least most humans can, because, fun fact, humans are slowly evolving to be able to drink milk past adolescence, because that's only when humans, or at least all mammals, can drink milk. That is the only time we only should be able to drink milk. But over hundreds of thousands of years, we've slowly evolved to get tolerance for milk. Like myself, I'm an avid milk enjoyer. So yeah, don't give your cats milk, and don't give them wheat. They also don't like wheat. Whatever. So he's drinking milk, which is actually an alcohol substitute for this movie. And then suddenly death shows up with a nice whistle and just teleports. Because, okay, I want to talk about Death's Lobo, Mirta, whatever name you want to give him. Just don't call him the Big Bad Wolf. Because, okay, here's another, like, good thing about this movie. Even though it's not heavily based around, like, pre-existing mythology within the Shrek franchise, it's really accurate to the lore, or at least that I noticed. It's really accurate to the lore. Because there's already a Big Bad Wolf in Shrek. Which is weirdly, like, the center of, like, transphobic jokes. Because the Big Bad Wolf is constantly in the grandmother's clothing, like in Little Red Riding Hood. So they're constantly making jokes like, a gender-confused wolf, and gotta crack my elbow sometimes. My joints are not good. Anyway, so, whatever. There's already a Big Bad Wolf in the Shrek universe, which, surprisingly, at the end, this isn't like my usual good content. I'm just going straight into, like, the details. I'm not prolonging the video by telling the story. I'm just talking about details haphazardly, because I just want to talk about this movie, because I really like it. When people say they can't wait to do something, they mean they're so excited that they wish they could do it. When I say I can't wait to watch this movie on Blu-ray in a few months from now, I mean I literally cannot wait. It hurts me right now to not see the movie again. That doesn't cost $30 or $40 to see it. Because you can rent it right now. You can rent it, you can even buy it for $30 on your Xbox, or like on demand. It's not on streaming, but it is available digitally. It's also still in theaters, which it should be for like another month or 2, or 3 even. So I can go watch it. I have options, but I don't want to go spend $30-$40 to see it without like a reason to. Besides like enjoying the movie again, seeing Lobo go at it with Puss. That's what she said. Is that actually a joke? Whatever. Also, I Googled, I've been really interested, by the way. I've been trying to translate some of the words he says in Spanish. Apparently, Lobo just means wolf. I didn't know that. So, Lobo from the DC universe is called Wolf, actually. Dust. Uh, Also, a little tinge for this uh, because it's the internet. We love cats. We love cat videos, like sometime last year or 2021, the people started like calling cats gatos, and I thought that was just a stupid way of pretend saying cat in Spanish. Because it's like it's literally just cat with a G and an O. Gato. So I thought that was like a meme way of saying it. Like, haha, it's Spanish, but it's not. I probably should have Googled it beforehand, but I just took it as fact, like, oh, it's a meme. I mean, it is, but it's actually is Spanish for cat. And I didn't know that, so that's my fault. As soon as Death said, caro, he said run little kitten in Spanish, but he's in Spanish it's gatito. That means little kitten or kitten in general. So as soon as he said that, I thought, oh, that's officially what they say in Spain and South America and Mexico. So, a little pea brain moment for me. I have those. I'm not smart all the time, but I'm losing my track. My memory's been really bad lately. So give me a second. Had a little hallucination right there. It was like a little movement because of my hair. Anyway, so yeah, let's just I have no idea what to do now. I completely lost track. Something, death, something, Puss in Boots, something, the last wish. Also okay, I feel like, okay, I'm gonna tweet this in the coming days, but people need to really look at Death's sickles. That's what he has. He has sickles. That's what those are called. They're, the mini scythe. Those are called sickles. Like hammer and sickle. Anyway, so yeah. People need to also look at the design, because I'm talking about fan art, and I have started drawings of him. Hopefully you'll see those in a few months, because that's how long it takes for me to post those. Not because of anything, but I like to post them in the order of finishing them. So yeah. But his sickles actually have a hinge right at the base of the blade that connects to the handle. So we even see this in the movie. He can flip those forward to make like brass knuckles, but there's also a blade right next to your knuckles. Not like next to it, they're big sickles, so they like arch like this. The blade doesn't even touch here. It's like out here. So, but he's Death, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, people need to realize that there's a hinge in his sickles that he can make brass knuckles with. So yeah. Something. All right. Actually, let's just get to the story. I know I said I was gonna do that, but I'll get to my my little tidbits within the story, because I feel like the story really needs to be talked about, because I like it. So, as I said, Puss has just lost his eighth life, and he's just acting like he's still the legend himself, Puss in Boots. Because that's his story. That's his story arc. He goes from being an arrogant, thinks he's immortal guy who can do whatever he wants, basically, and live forever. But the story is about him moving to understand that he is fallible, and he has to take things more carefully, but also involve yourself in your life, have a life, love it, enjoy yourself. So yeah, but we're not there yet. He's not there yet. So he goes to a bar, drinks some milk, and then we get Lobo. He comes in, tries to kill him, because guess what? People need to... okay, so Death's motivation for trying to kill Puss, not because he's Death, but, I mean, he is Death. And he's going to take Puss's life. But not in this movie. Because Death hates cats, especially Puss, because he paraded himself around as this immortal legend who will save your day and your town and never die, because he has 9 lives. So Death, finally knowing that Puss has 1 life, wants to take it early because he wants to speed up the process, because he's so mad at Puss for parading around his life like it's longer than it is, or whatever. So, Death kicks Puss's ass, and Puss runs away. And that's when we first see Puss scared in this movie. It happens a lot, actually. This is the first time we see him scared, and he's running away. And early in the movie, when he first realizes he's on his last life, there's a doctor there who's like, oh, there's this old cat lady who has hundreds of cats. She always wants more. Go to her if you want a retirement. So Puss goes to her, like literally buries his outfit, because that's basically what makes him special, besides knowing English and Spanish and cattish or meowing. That's like a joke in this movie. Like when he first meets all the cats, he tries to speak as a cat, but they all get angry at him because he might have said something offensive. So yeah, now he's retired, and he's buried all his clothes in a literal grave. But time goes on, and he grows out a beard, as I do too. Not like his. I still have the drawing. A couple of years ago, it's been like 3 years. I made a drawing of what I want to look like by 2025. And I still have it. I have it taped to my wall under a painting of mine. Okay, how about let's just pan over here. I'm gonna do that. See? As you can see, a bit of my collection. You got my painting, you got whatever, and you got my drawing of what I want to look like by 2025. As you can see, I'm getting pretty close. Mainly the thing right now is the beard. As you can tell, I have facial hair. I'm getting there, but getting all of that, well, it's not all of that, it's just like a nice coverage by 2025 doesn't seem that ideal now. We'll see. But whatever. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the retirement. So he's now retired. He's grown out his beard, And one day he meets a dog disguised as a cat to get the food. And he lives under the steps of the front of the house, he says. But he mainly goes inside for food. But also, on that day, Goldilocks and the three bears of all people bust in the house, try and find out where Puss in Boots is, because that's where they think he is. They don't find him. They do. Goldie actually looks at him while what was it? Who held him? It might have been Baby Bear. He held him up, and she was like, "Who's this geriatric bones? Who's these geriatric bones? That's not Puss in Boots, the legendary hero himself. He will never die. Those is dust." So, apparently Baby Bear is only good at, like, finding scents. So he tracks Puss's scent to the grave where they think he died, because it's a grave with Puss's pee, like his literal initial. So they think he's dead because, again, but the reason they wanted to find him is because they want to get the map to the wishing star. And so, because they want to get a wish, because they're a crime family. That's their thing. But they have to get it from this big evil guy who a lot of people love. Me too. Jack Horner, which at the time, when I was watching the movie, I didn't realize it, but it's actually based off a little rhyme. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner eating a holiday pie. They say Horner pie in the movie because branding, but it's holiday in the original. Or Christmas, whatever. It was like he sticks in his thumb, pulls out a plum, says, "What a good boy am I." As you can tell, it's been kind of looping in my head a bit, but the reason they want to get Puss to be involved is because they need someone to find the map and intercept it right before Jack gets it. But they're out of luck, so they just go and do it themselves, even though they tried to hire Puss's last love interest from the first movie, which turns out they were going to get married, but one, Puss didn't show up because he loved himself more and he was scared of commitment, and two, her name is Kitty Softpaws. The reason she has soft paws is because she got declawed by her owners, one of her owners. She didn't show up either because she realized that Puss wouldn't be there because he loves himself. And her story basically is like, oh, I want someone I can trust. Which I also think is her story in the first movie, but I can't remember. It's been a while. So, turns out, they get to Jack Horner's factory. We get introduced to him, and a lot of people have mentioned this, but his voice doesn't really match John Mulaney. Okay, I do think they had the right idea to do what they wanted to do with Jack's voice, because he's supposed to be like this psychotic man-child. There's a lot of those these days, usually those with a lot of wealth, like Jack. So he's a bit of a pull from reality. But his voice doesn't really fit because of his size. Obviously in the rhyme, he's little Jack Horner, but he's quadrupled in size, both in height and girth. So now he goes by Big Jack Horner. So you think his voice would change a lot, because we get a flashback that should not be reliable, because it's from Jack's perspective. And he lies a lot. I think the only thing he doesn't lie about is that his parents don't like him. Because that seems like a thing that would actually happen and that he would use for sympathy points. Because that seems like what he's trying to make you think of him. He wants your sympathy while he abuses you. So, he's changed a lot. You think his voice would change a lot too. But the only thing that actually changes is that his younger self has, his voice is a bit more high pitched. A bit. And his Big Jack Horner, his voice is literally just John Mulaney. That's just it. But I do think there's one point in the movie where he does sound like Big Jack Horner. What I think they were trying to go for the entire time. It's the famous moment where the truth, the conscience grasshopper finally realizes Jack is beyond anything. He's barely even human. And he's like, "You're a horrible monster. You're an irredeemable monster." And then Jack replies verbally. He's like, at first he's like smugly like. Also, I love his expressions. They can go from monster to smug animal. It's so awesome. Even though his face is really small compared to his like head, or like what's considered his head, he's so expressive. But when he verbally confronts him, he's like, oh, what took you so long, idiot? And I feel like that's what they should have gone for. Like a bit more like brass to his voice normally, but when he's aggressive, he's like, you add a bit more gruffness. I feel like that voice direction would have lent a lot better to what they were going for with the character. Like, he's supposed to be whiny, but not that whiny, you know? But whatever. So, Jack gets the map in a case from the Serpent Sisters, they're called. But they make him angry, so he's scolding them, talking about his collection of magical items he's stolen and killed for. But in the background, Puss tries to get the map. Turns out Kitty was inside the chest the whole time. Takes the map. They fight, and they're like, "How dare you?" And he's like, "Kitty," and he kicks him in the face. She kicks him in the face. And then the dog, later on, he gets a name. He doesn't have a name at all within story and out at this point. But later on, he gets a name. It's Perito. He's a Chihuahua. I forgot to mention that. He comes in and no, he's still outside because they talked earlier, but it's 29 minutes. Uh-oh, I gotta speed up, which is fine. There's not much after this. Like, there's still bits and pieces that are, like, it's all great, but it's mostly traveling at this point to get to to get to the general area of the star. So it's like mostly like fast travel, but so Kitty and Puss have the map in both their paws, but then Goldilocks and the Three Bears come in, try and get the map. Puss and Kitty get out of there. They're on a carriage. There's coins in the back. Puss kicks them off. So, excuse me. Civilians come in. They're trying to get the coins, and then Puss in Boots runs away. It's like, "You're welcome. That is a gift from the great Puss in Boots." And then you hear the iconic whistle of El Morito. Can you tell it only took like a month of Spanish in high school? He comes in, he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." And he puts 2 coins over his eyes, which is a cool sight. But then Puss is scared and they run away. And basically for the next like 20 to 40 minutes, it's just like a traveling montage. There are bits and pieces here where things happen, but not like anything noticeable. And then once we're finally in like the forest of where the star is, they look at the map and they realize, oh, the path we have to travel is dictated on whether or not someone wants the wish and whether or not they kind of deserve it. And luckily, Purito doesn't want the wish and just wants everyone to be happy because he wants to be a therapy dog. So they give him the map so they have the easiest of ways to getting to the star. But like, through the second obstacle area, Puss finally shaves, and then all of a sudden everyone's there. Everyone's in that area specifically because they're not that far apart at this point. They get there because Purito jumps off, and then Jack gets him, and then the Goldilocks comes in. They're fighting. Then Death shows up. Puss runs away and has a panic attack, which is very well done, unlike a certain Scooby-Dooby-Doo show going on right now. I will not be covering it. But yeah. So, because Purito, he has the map, they got away. So did Kitty. But because Purito wants to be a therapy dog, he actually does what a therapy dog would do and just lies next to him with his head on Puss's chest. And he calms down. And then Purito wants to find out what's going on. And Puss tells him. He tells him about how he's on his last life. I'm not sure if he tells him if death is coming after him. I'm not sure. But I don't know why, I can't remember, but he also tells them about how him and Kitty were going to get married and that he's upset about it. And Purito's like, you should tell her. But luckily, Kitty's nearby, so she knows exactly what's going on, besides the one life part. So she comes in, they act like nothing happened, and they go. And then they stop by a tree to find out where exactly everything is. I think something. The map gets stolen by the three bears and Goldie. They get stuck in their cabin, their old cabin that they used to live in, because of nostalgia, and they're tired. But during that, Kitty and Puss make up because they realize, oh, neither of us showed up to our wedding. But we're both trying. Well, Kitty doesn't really need to be better. She is basically just Puss, but better, but a bit standoffish, unlike Puss. So it's mostly Puss trying to be better, and he makes it outwardly known because he apologizes. But things happen later on. But we'll talk about that later. So, okay, there's a couple more things, and then we're done. So, they get the map back, but Puss holds it and looks at it, and that accidentally reveals a location of reflections that entrapped him away from everyone else. So he tries to find a way out while everyone else tries to find him. So, while in the reflection area, he meets his other lives. And they kind of have their whole lollygagging thing going on. All of them like hang out and whatever. But then Death shows up, and he finally reveals to Puss what he is. And panic attack number 2 or 3, 4, whatever. Whatever. So he runs away. He actually gets out, and then he runs away with the map. but Kitty and Perito are right next to him, near him, that he can see them and they can see each other and they can hear each other. And they're like, Puss, come here, come here, come here. But he doesn't, because he's scared, because Death is like literally right next to them, basically. They're like right here, Death is like right there in the entrance. Puss runs away. He gets to the star. He's about to make the wish when Kitty and Perito get there. They talk, and Kitty's like, I thought I could trust you, but that's not true. You're trying to use this wish for yourself. Well, I forgot to mention that they also like were making, like, kind of hinting at each other that they would use the wish to get back together or something like that, but... And she's like, whatever, use your wish. Get your 8 lives back, because no one can match your true love yourself. That, comment yourself. But Puss reveals that he's on his last life. Well, she didn't know that. No, she did know that. But Puss reveals that Death is after him. And she's like, what? But then Jack Horner shows up. And then Goldie shows up. They all fight. And then Death shows up. Once everyone's like a bit worn out. Jack Horner's out of it. He fell into his infinite bag of magical gifts he has. Goldie and the 3 bears are out there. Also, they have a story in here. They're like a secondary and protagonists, where Goldie wants to find a real family, not the bears. But she realizes, oh, they are family. So she doesn't need the wish anymore. So then, of course, Death shows up. Him and Puss finally have their final fight. And they fight 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 and they fight. And then Death realizes, after he gets knocked down by Puss, that he's not the same person anymore. So his grudge no longer really works with this Puss. So he's like, damn it. Alright. You're not the same person. Go live your life. Live it well. Though I will come back. And Puss is like, yeah, whatever. But I'm still gonna fight for it. This is my life now. And so Death leaves, and then we got the actual villain of the story, Jack Horner. He eats the Alice in Wonderland cookies that make you very big. He becomes a giant, but after a little fighting, Goldie, Kitty, and Puss, they tear up the map. So now the star collapses on itself with Jack in it. And he makes a joke like, why did I deserve it? What exactly did I do to deserve this? And he does the Terminator thing, but he actually puts it down because that's what he does with his pies. He puts his thumb in it to test it out. And yeah, that's it. Puss and Kitty finally get back together. Perito gets his name, and now they basically become he becomes their son. Goldie understands that she has a family now, and Jack Horner is dead. So yeah, of course we have a ending scene where they tease that, oh, Puss is going back to Happily Ever After, the city in the Shrek universe, which they didn't need it, but cool. I guess this really is just like the prequel to the next Shrek film. Because it's supposed to be coming out in like a year or two. So, I don't think there's any post-credit scenes. I don't think there is. So, that's it. That's Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. And 40 minutes long? Jeez. It's not my longest video, I don't think. But it's up there because this is a great movie. It really is great. Now that I've actually had time to actually tell you things about it and making me realize more things about it than I really realized before. I understand the movie better now, and I feel like that rewatch is really gonna hammer home that this movie is fantastic. But we're not there yet. It's good. It's great. Go watch it, please, please go watch it. But besides that, also here's a little teaser. I don't think no one's gonna watch this part. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not even gonna say it, give you an incentive to tell me that you watch this. Besides out of your own kindness, maybe leave a comment. I don't care. No one's gonna watch this, but here's a little teaser for my Halloween costume this year. It's either gonna be Jason Voorhees or Death, a human version, of course. I've already found basically all the parts for it. I just gotta find red eye contacts. I shouldn't have any trouble like touching my eye. I can touch my eye pretty easily. I just don't have like this the fright of actually touching my eye with my bare finger, like my actual eyeball. But I feel like putting plastic or glass on there is gonna scare me. But we'll figure it out, and that's about it. That's it. Go watch it, please. No one's made it this far, of course, but if you did, I'll subscribe to you. Of course, I won't know who you are, so that'll never happen. But besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye!